Hey guys, Angus here, bringing another video review today. Fairly anticipated review, a couple people been asking about it. Today's review is going to be the TSD Tactical CO2 BlowBack 1911 Airsoft pistol. Now, if you're interested to purchase this pistol after you watch the review, there'll be a link down below in the description to airsoftstation.com where you can purchase this gun for $80. With that being said, let's get into the review of the TSD Tactical CO2 BlowBack 1911, which is a very, very nice pistol, and I cannot wait to show it to you. For starters, let's open up the box and see what is included when you purchase the TSD Tactical 1911 from airsoftstation.com. Now, instead of coming in a box, your pistol will come in this very nice hard carrying case. Now, already there's a bonus. You get a free carrying case for your pistol with the purchase. Now, this carrying case isn't cheap. You think, oh, it's coming with the gun, it's got to be cheap. It's a very solid plastic. This isn't the first one I've had. I had another one with a non-BlowBack pistol I reviewed, and that was very solid as well. It's not solid enough to, stop a bullet from going through it, but if you drop this, your pistol should be okay, considering there is also styrofoam lining inside the pistol case. On the outside, it just has a TSD logo in the front. That's about it. Nothing about the gun at all. When you open up the carrying case, this is what you should see, except with the exception of the magazine will be inside the pistol. Inside the case you have a small bag, about 50.2 gram BBs, a small Allen key to adjust your hop-up, your TSD 1911 manual. This manual is actually pretty helpful. It tells you things you're going to need to know, such as how to adjust your hop-up, how to put the CO2 into your magazine, and on the back there's a very, very nice parts breakdown. And then, of course, you have your TSD CO2 BlowBack 1911 and its magazine. Now, as I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is a very nice pistol. As you can already tell, with light reflecting off it, you can see the chrome on the side here, also the nice markings on the slide. This is definitely a pistol, very, very pleasing to the eye, and pleasing to a collector if someone was interested in getting a 1911 into their collection. Now, as usual, start of the reviews, we always talk about the external construction, so that's what we're going to start off with here. Now, the gun has a couple pieces of plastic, but the majority of it is constructed of metal. Now, plastic pieces include the lower frame of the pistol. This is basically all this down here. This is all plastic, including the false wood grip. Somebody asked if they were real wood. I don't think they make Airsoft 1911s with real wood unless they're going to be very expensive. So these grips are plastic, as is the lower frame of the pistol. However, your slide is metal, your hammer is metal, your slide lock is metal, your safety is metal, any of the chrome pieces are metal, the trigger's metal, back of the grip is metal, and of course your magazine, since it's running CO2, is metal as well. So the majority of the pistol is metal with the exception of the lower frame and the grips. Now that we're done talking about the external quality, pretty simple there, let's get into the internal system of this 1911. Now, this is a clone of the G&G Extreme 45, so it's going to have the same internal system as that pistol. Now, most gas blowback pistols, how they work is when the slide comes back, the blowback, the slide will cycle the next BB from the magazine into the chamber, and when the trigger is pulled, that BB will come out, the slide will fly back again, and another BB will be cycled into the chamber. This pistol does that a little bit differently. The blowback doesn't cycle the BBs in, so it's different than your normal gas blowback pistol. Therefore, your slide lock's not going to work. Unfortunately, it's just kind of a feature on the side there, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, internally, the gun's of course got metal internals, so it can handle the CO2 and the blowback, but it's not the same system as gas blowback pistols, whereas the slide would cycle an XBB in. It's different than that. Now let's talk about some of the features of the TSD Tactical CO2 BlowBack 1911. Alright, first thing we're going to talk about with features here is something that may disappoint some people who are looking to get this gun, considering it's not exactly the most realistic feature here. Now the real 1911 is double action. That means all I have to do, pull the trigger, and it will fire. Unfortunately, this 1911 is only single action, and that's basically the case with most other Airsoft 1911s, so don't think this pistol isn't for me just because it doesn't have double action. Most Airsoft 1911s out there aren't going to have double action. Since it isn't double action, you do have to cock the hammer back. You can do this simply by flicking it back like so, or you can do it the cooler way and cock the slide back. Either way, as long as your hammer's down, your gun will be capable of firing. So a little disappointing to the collectors out there looking for a double action 1911, but again, it's going to be kind of hard to find a double action Airsoft 1911. Alright, now another major feature on here is also a major con for me. This is the piece that gave me the most trouble here. It's the gun's magazine. Now, of course, the magazine is stored in the pistol's grip. In order to eject the magazine, you want to push into the chrome magazine ejection button right here. Be prepared to catch the magazine. As you can see, it launches right out due to the fact the expelling CO2 when you push the ejection button causes the magazine to launch out, so be ready to catch it. You don't want it flying into the dirt. Now, of course, your magazine is constructed of metal since it is housing CO2, And in order to put the CO2 in, it's a pretty simplistic procedure. You're going to want to unscrew this until it's very, very loose, and drop your 12-gram CO2 cartridge in, and at that point, turn and tighten the CO2 inward so that you hear a hiss. That means your CO2 cartridge has been broken. CO2 is ready to flow into the pistol and propel your BBs forward. I would show you how to unscrew and everything, tighten it in. However, this CO2 cartridge is still full of CO2, so I would not recommend unscrewing it, because then you'll have CO2 flying everywhere and you could freeze your hands pretty bad. So I'd recommend only removing the CO2 when it's empty. Now your magazine holds 15 rounds. It's pretty standard for all Airsoft 1911s. However, this one, I like how it has a nice locking feature. If you want to pull the spring down, push it all the way down, it'll lock at the bottom, so you can simply drop your BBs in without having to use one hand holding down the spring. In order to push your spring back upward, simply push this small button down here. That will cause your spring to launch upward. I'd recommend keeping your finger over the top so your BBs don't go flying out. So your magazine seems like a pretty good thing, right? Unfortunately, it's not. Now, this might just be the case with me, for I have talked to other people who have purchased the pistol after they saw I got it and reported no magazine issues. However, with me, this magazine has given me nothing but endless trouble. For instance, the BBs don't feed. You put the magazine, it'll feed the first BB, but that's it. No more will feed after that. You got to eject the mag and then put it back in order to get another BB to feed, and then of course it won't feed again. You got to keep ejecting it until you get a shot each time before you have to eject it. So it's a major con, considering that's something that's really going to hurt you when you're in a skirmish. However, again, I'm the only one who's had that trouble. Now, another thing with the magazine is when it's full of CO2, you really have to push it in. You can't just, slide in like so, because as you can see right there, there's still a small gap and the magazine is not in all the way. As you can see, your magazine will drop right out. In order to put your magazine in, you really have to slam it in pretty daggone hard. At that point, your CO2 is flowing into the pistol, for the magazine is in all the way. So, major con here, be careful with the magazine. Again, I'm the only one who's had these issues. Other people say the magazine has worked fine, but for me, it's had severe feeding issues, and you really have to give it a hard slam in order to get it in there. If you just lightly tap it in, it's just going to fall out, and your gun's not going to shoot. So make sure you slam it in, and be wary for the feeding issues. Another chrome feature of the pistol is its safety, which is located just before the hammer, behind the slide lock, and the grip. Safety is this chromed piece right here. Now the way the safety works, you got to push it up for the gun to be on safety, you got to push it down for the gun to be on fire. Now the way you know it is on safety, see that white dot right there? White safe, push it down, red is dead. Red means you can fire. Now when the gun's on safety, the slide cannot be cocked back, and if you pull the trigger, it simply goes back, even if the hammer is cocked. However, if you were to have the gun on fire, of course the slide can go back, and of course when you pull the trigger and the hammer's cocked back, a BB will be expelled. Now located just in front of the safety and the grip is the slide lock. As I mentioned earlier though, it doesn't work, and the reason for that is because of the system this pistol uses. Now in a normal gas blowback system, the slide lock activates because the gun cycles BBs, and when it realizes there's no more BBs to be cycled, it locks back, considering it can't bring another BB upward, and the slide lock locks it. However, since this pistol doesn't use that blowback to cycle BBs in, it doesn't know when there's no ammo, so that's kind of a con. Doesn't let you know when you're out of BBs, but the slide lock does have another function. If you were to cock the slide back, push the slide lock upward so it locked the slide in place, you can. With the slide lock back, that allows your hop up to be exposed, and you can use the small included Allen key to adjust your hop up or down. So the slide lock does serve a semi-useful purpose, considering it allows you to adjust your hop up easier than having to hold back the slide and adjust your hop up at the same time. It allows you to focus more on adjusting the hop up than having to hold the slide back. Of course, the gun does have iron sights. You get your rear one and your front one here. Rear one, called the pyramid sight, got the two blocks with a slit, line up with your front sight post here. Rear sight can be adjusted. Simply use a screwdriver, turn the screw, you can adjust your rear sight. Another thing to note, front sight does have a nice white dot painted on it. Rear sight lacks that. Nothing too major, just something, adds a little nice touch to the gun. Otherwise, your iron sights are what you're stuck with, so they're pretty accurate to the gun. Another little cool feature of the pistol here is this tactical rail. Allows you to mount a laser or flashlight or grenade launcher, whatever you want to put down there. Of course, personally, I just like the look of this 1911 without anything down there, but if you were to want to be a little bit more tactical, flashlight or laser will fit down there fine. Now that we've finished talking about the features, let's get into the final conclusion of the TSD Tactical CO2 BlowBack 1911 Airsoft review. Now, judging on the gun we have here, the gun I received with the magazine issues, I'd say this is more of a collector's item. And it's definitely worthy of it. It's got the excellent external quality here, very nice chrome features, nice false wood grips, got the nice painted patent date on the slide here. and most of the gun's metal, the only exceptions being the grip and the lower frame of the pistol. So, externally, very, very nice. Internally, also very nice. It's a different system than gas blowback pistols where it cycles the BB upward. That's kind of a little letdown considering your slide lock won't activate. However, don't think your slide lock's useless. You can still use it to lock your slide back so you can adjust your hop up a bit easier. Now, other features on this thing, safety. It's in a nice position. It's not in a position where I can slip my finger up and knock it on a safety when I need to be on fire. Again, the gun's not double action, a little bit of a letdown to somebody who's looking for something with a lot of realism, but you're not going to find an Airsoft 1911 that's in a lower price range that's double action. I'm not even sure if they do make double action 1911s for Airsoft. But, you know, the main con comes in with the magazine. As you can see, it launches right out into your hand, and I'm the only one who's reported these magazine issues. Everyone else who bought one, because I saw I had it, said I didn't have any magazine issues. But this magazine doesn't feed, and in order to get it into the gun, you really have to give it a hard slam, otherwise it'll just drop out onto the ground. So magazine is the main problem with this gun, and I've had problems with a lot of CO2 magazines before, so that just might be something for you to watch out for. Now, we are going to get into a little bit more of the skirmish reliability, how it's going to perform in the field when we get into the field report, but as of now, I'm going to rate this gun a 7.5 out of 10 for external, feature, and internal quality. It's a very nice pistol, definitely worthy of a collector. If you're a collector, I'd rate it 9.5 out of 10. Definitely a cool gun if you're interested in purchasing. A link will be below. Click it, and thanks for watching.